Hey gang, Massad Ayoob here for the Wilson Combat channel. We're at the Wilson Combat factory in Berryville, Arkansas. And with us today is Guy Joubert from Wilson to discuss the latest evolution. Guy, tell us about the SFT9.
The SFT9 is a commander length slide barrel, 15 round frame. It's an aluminum frame. Features on the SFT is slide top serrations, rear slide serrations, wide cocking serrations on the front and the rear, carry cuts, ball end mill cuts, countersunk slide stop, heavy chamfer on the bottom of the slide. This model comes with a fixed rear sight, red fiber optic front sight, but we could have various options of front sights, rear sights that can go on these. They come with a flush cut reverse crown barrel. The Trak Pattern, the slide is DLC finished, and the frame is hard coat anodized.
What are the capacity options on this?
The capacity options, the SFTs will come standard with two 15-round magazines, but you also have the option to get the 18-round magazines that are commonly purchased by our customers for these double column series of handguns that we've put out. Typically what I do is I run a 15-round magazine in the gun for concealment purposes, and then have two 18-round mags on my person when I'm carrying this, just for extra BBs if the need arises.
And for our customers who are trapped behind enemy lines in 10-round states?
We do have a 10-round magazine that does have the same tube length, so it can be inserted into the frame. Magazine catch will lock up on it, but it does get you a magazine to go in your would-be 15-round frame in those states. So the evolution to get to the SFT started off obviously with the EDC X9 series of guns, which had the tri-top slide and the X-Tac pattern on the front and back strap. And then we moved into the Experior series of firearms, which is very similar. It features the grip panels, but we changed the texturing from the X-Tac pattern to the Trak Pattern, which is kind of this square texturing on the front and back strap. And then we also went to the more traditional round top, internal extractor, lugged barrel design for the Experior models. From the Experior model, we moved to the SFX9, which was the X9 in a sense, minus the grip panels. And then from the SFX, we went to the SFT, which is the Experior model, less the grip panels. So the SFT drops the grip panels, which in a sense slims the frame down quite a bit. It's not exactly the same, but it's very similar to the feel of a traditional single stack 1911. The Trak Pattern is featured on these, and then the top end is essentially the same. Outside of the grip panels being gone, you kind of have the same gun as the Experior series of guns. Large-handed people tend to gravitate towards these because they are a little bit thicker in the hand, where smaller-handed shooters gravitate towards the solid frames, which is what the SF in the SFT stands for, and then the T is the Trak Pattern, just because it is a little bit more reduced. But even with big hands, you still have enough panel to get both hands on the gun and get a secure grip and control the firearm when shooting it.
And for those of us who don't have the big hands, it's a really, really solid, good fit. Gets the finger right in deep on the trigger without having to go to an H grip. Gives you a little more leverage on the trigger. I really like this. I'm looking forward to the test drive.
Great shooting guns. I have pretty decent sized hands, but you still have plenty of room to get both hands on the gun for support. The nice thing about this, and I've also carried this gun regularly, the Trak Pattern is not necessarily aggressive on like clothing or car seats or anything really, but the depth of the grooves on the front and back strap of that Trak Pattern really allows you to get the meat of the hand and the fingers into the gun, which really allow you to control that thing.
Yeah, you can feel that just picking it up.
Mm-hmm. And you'd think that being an aluminum frame gun that it might be a little snappy. The texturing on there lets you control that thing like you're almost shooting a 22. It's very nice, and the aluminum frame is very comfortable when carrying on a daily basis as well. I've carried this gun and shot it in several different matches, and it's been a joy.
Now, who did the design work on this?
Our engineers. The Trak Pattern actually was drawn up during the original design of the X9. We went with the Trak Pattern originally, kind of kept this in our back pocket to continue the evolution of the double column frames, and the exterior model was a good hit and success for the company.
Well, it'll gladden the spirit of John Moses Browning to know you've apparently gone back to the original bushing design. Tell us about that.
Yes, we do have the bushing design on the Commander series, which, you know, it wouldn't be a Commander without a bushing. The 5-inch variations of the X9 guns, the exterior guns, and the SFX guns also feature the bushing. You just get that traditional look, lock up, the fit. People can use their bushing wrenches again. There's a lot of good that I think goes along with a bushing barrel, which is traditionalist, and I'm kind of a traditionalist.
I am too. For me, the big thing is the ease of takedown and reassembly. What's your take on it? Without
a full-length guide rod, I don't typically use a bushing wrench on takedown or reassembly, but you do have that option. With a full-length guide rod, you almost have to. So those are kind of the methodology behind takedown and reassembly. If it doesn't have a full-length guide rod, I don't necessarily use the bushing to disassemble, but a lot of people do.
Now, I understand you've been doing some beta testing in the competition arena.
I have.
Tell us about that.
This is one of the first guns, the SFTs, that we built here at the factory. We shot it in a couple matches. I shot at the Oklahoma State match, shot it in club matches, shot it at the Arkansas State Championship. That was post-release. Austin Prue, who's also on our shooting team, shot this at Nationals this year, shot it at Utah State, and shot it at the Fall Brawl here in Arkansas. But he's gonna be running one of these primarily all next year and into the future. We're building him a new one that's of the current specs and has all the bells and whistles.
Now, I'm told this is small enough you can literally squeak it in a CCP class, concealed carry pistol class?
You can. That's the division that I was shooting this gun in, the division that Austin will also be competing in. Being a left-handed shooter, I went with the ambidextrous controls, obviously, on the thumb safety. To get it in the box, you've got to use the concealment controls for the slide stop and the ambi safeties. You can use a standard size mag release, which is very beneficial in the competition arena to get those reloads, the mag out and get a new one in there. The standard model comes with wider controls, thumb safety and slide stop, and then the standard mag release, where running the concealment controls allows you to fit that in the box. You do have to do a little bit of reshaping of the base pad to get it to kind of angle in there.
So the customers can order it either way?
Yes, sir.
What kind of accuracy are you seeing out of them?
Very good. But I've also noticed in regard to accuracy, sometimes it's more the Indian than the bow.
Yeah, but the smart Indians want the best bows.
That's correct. This is a very good bow.
I've been hearing 1.5" at 25. Does that sound ballpark?
It can do it, if you can do it.
They're sending one of these to me to test for On Target magazine, and I am really looking forward to it. And hopefully I'll have one in time to use when I teach my next class.
As everyone probably suspects, there's some different barrel lengths coming, combinations that'll go on this frame that you'll see in the future.
Shorter and longer?
Yes.
Life will be good. Guy, thanks so much for taking the time with us today.
Absolutely, it was a pleasure.
Well, gang, there you have it, the latest and greatest in the continuing evolution of the 1911 courtesy of Wilson Combat. Stay tuned and we'll keep you up to date with the next latest and greatest.